In the dead of night, deep within the marble corridors of Mar-a-Lago, a single encrypted laptop hummed softly on a mahogany desk, its screen casting a sickly blue glow across the face of a man who had once commanded the free world. The file that had just decrypted carried no name, only a string of numbers that matched the timestamp of a forgotten summit in Helsinki. When the document opened, the first line read like a curse. Asset confirmed. Codename, Golden Bear. Payments routed through Cypriot Shell, 2016-2024. Total, $1.7 billion. The viewer's breath caught. The viewer was not supposed to be there. Outside, palm trees swayed in a wind that carried no sound, yet every frond seemed to whisper betrayal. Across the Atlantic, in a Kremlin sub-basement 12 stories below Red Square, another screen flickered to life at the exact same hour. A technician, paid in cash and fear, watched as intercepted NSA intercepts scrolled past, conversations between a former American president and a Russian counterpart that had never been meant for any archive. The words were banal on the surface, golf scores, hotel recommendations. But embedded in the metadata, invisible to most eyes, were steganographic images. Maps of Ukrainian troop positions dated weeks before any public disclosure, coordinates for American energy assets in Alaska, and a single photograph of a safety deposit box key taped to the back of a framed portrait of Lenin. The technician's hands trembled. He knew the penalty for seeing what he had just seen. Weeks later, fragments began leaking, not through mainstream outlets, but through dark web mirrors. One audio clip, grainy and distorted, captured two voices unmistakably familiar. "You handle the eastern flank, I'll keep the southern noise down," the American said. "We split the Black Sea routes 50-50. Nobody touches the gas until the election dust settles." The reply came soft. "And the documents stay buried. Forever." Listeners swore the background held the faint clink of ice in a glass. Then came the bodies. First, a retired CIA analyst in Virginia, found in his garage with the car running, and a note that read, "Only they know." Next, a Cypriot banker in Limassol, throat slit in his penthouse. In Moscow, a mid-level FSB officer was discovered hanging from a bridge over the Moskva River. Each death was ruled suicide or accident, yet every coroner's report contained the same anomaly. Traces of polonium-210 in the bloodstream, the calling card of a poison few nations still manufacture. In Washington, the leaks reached a fever pitch when an anonymous server dumped terabytes of data onto decentralized networks. Among the files, bank statements showing luxury properties in Dubai and Sochi purchased under shell companies linked to both men's children, emails discussing insurance files, and a chilling video, time-stamped late 2020, showing the two leaders alone in a wood-paneled room, toasting with crystal glasses. The final line was clear. "When it's done, we own the board. No more pawns." Now the world waits. Diplomats cancel meetings without explanation. Stock markets jitter at rumors of sudden asset freezes. In darkened rooms from Langley to Yasenevo, analysts pore over every syllable of the leaks, knowing that the real horror is not the revelations themselves. It is the certainty that the men who made the deals are still walking free. And somewhere, in a server farm or a safety deposit box or a memory stick taped beneath a drawer, the final file waits, the one that names every complicit name, every silent witness. When that file surfaces, and it will, the lights will go out in more capitals than anyone dares admit. Not with a bang, but with the soft, final click of a dead man's switch. The shadows lengthened as the first major leak cascaded into view via a hacked server in Tallinn. The dump contained encrypted correspondence detailing asset protection protocols for high-value individuals. Buried deep were notarized agreements with signatures from both Washington and Moscow, a mutual insurance policy to keep compromising material sealed. The revelation spread like a virus. A grainy video surfaced from a 2018 Moscow hotel. Two figures, no aides. The American leaned forward. "You keep the noise down in the south. I handle the domestic front. We both win." The reply, "Duh," and the servers stay offline. A final handshake sealed the pact. Panic rippled through Langley. Analysts matched the new material with old intercepts. Patterns emerged. unexplained policy reversals, and classified briefings inexplicably downgraded. A memo warned of foreign influence vectors, a warning dismissed as alarmist, now reading like prophecy. The human cost mounted, a translator from Helsinki found dead. A retired GRU officer vanished in St. Petersburg, his coat left on the riverbank. Each incident marked by a single playing card, the ace of spades. By 2026, pressure was unbearable. Photos emerged of secret meetings in neutral countries, Cyprus, Seychelles. One showing a yacht off Montenegro, security absent, trust absolute. The world watched in horror. Congressional hearings postponed. Diplomats whispered of back-channel ultimatums. In private, aides reported sleepless nights and growing paranoia. The true terror lay in the silence. The files were scattered on decentralized networks, entrusted to dead-man switches. When the last envelope opens, it will reveal how the game was rigged from the inside. In that moment, the lights will flicker across the entire board, leaving only darkness, and the echo of a forever that was never meant to end. The fracture began quietly in 2027 with a single file, endgame.mp4. It showed a secret pact signed years earlier by two superpowers, a non-aggression covenant protecting billions in hidden assets. The release triggered global chaos. Markets crashed, NATO locked down, and the journalist who leaked it vanished. But the leak wasn't finished. A final file, Appendix 0, revealed the terrifying truth. We own the future, they just don't know it yet. The game was rigged from the start. This is the story of the final fracture. The silence that followed the endgame.mp4 drop lasted exactly 17 days, a number that soon acquired its own grim mythology among those tracking the scandal. 17 days of radio silence from both men, no tweets, no interviews, no defiant press conferences. The absence itself became the loudest statement. Markets stabilized on the surface, but beneath the calm, capital flowed in strange, silent currents, anonymous transfers to offshore trusts, sudden purchases of remote properties in Patagonia and New Zealand, and a spike in private security contracts for executive relocation planning. Then, on the 18th day, the mirror leaks evolved. Instead of documents or videos, small, timed packets began appearing in public code repositories on GitHub, seemingly innocuous commits to abandoned projects. Each commit message was a single word: tick. Embedded in the diff lines were fragments of text, hex-encoded, that when reassembled formed partial transcripts of phone calls. One fragment, dated February 2021, captured a voice unmistakably the Americans. They're sniffing around the server farm in Prague. Burn it if you have to. The Russian response, calm as ever. Already ashes. You worry too much about ghosts. The commit was pushed from an IP address in Reykjavik, then mirrored to servers in Sao Paulo, then Tokyo, each mirror vanishing minutes after detection. Intelligence agencies scrambled. NSA analysts traced the commits backward through Tor nodes and VPN chains that looped across continents like a noose tightening. The trail always ended at dead ends, abandoned VPS instances paid for with privacy coins that had tumbled through mixers. Yet one pattern held. Every new tick commit appeared precisely at 03:17 UTC, the same hour the Helsinki summit handshake had been photographed years earlier. Someone was marking time. The human fallout accelerated. A former national security advisor was found unresponsive in his Georgetown home, cause listed as cardiac arrest. His autopsy revealed elevated levels of a rare synthetic compound never before seen in toxicology databases. Later identified as a modified Novichok variant, odorless, tasteless, and engineered to mimic natural heart failure. In Sochi, a billionaire who had once hosted both men at his Black Sea dacha fell from his yacht during a private dinner. The official story? Accidental drowning after too much champagne. The yacht's security footage, leaked anonymously 2 days later, showed no struggle, only a sudden, stiff collapse, as if the body had simply switched off. Publicly, the two men reappeared almost simultaneously. One gave a rambling interview from a golf resort in Florida, calling the leaks the biggest hoax since the witches of Salem. The other delivered a televised address from the Kremlin, denouncing Western fabrications aimed at destabilizing multipolar order. Both performances were flawless in their defiance, yet observers noted the same detail. Each man kept his left hand below the table or out of frame for the entire duration. Conspiracy forums lit up with speculation. Some claimed it was to hide a tremor, others a tattoo, others still a small device that could trigger a final failsafe. Then the Appendix 0 file surfaced, not as a dramatic dump, but as a quiet pull request on a long-forgotten open-source cryptography library. The PR title, Final Patch. The description, closes all outstanding issues. The single changed line in the code was a comment. We own the future. They just don't know it yet. When researchers compiled and ran the patched library, it output nothing but two SHA-256 hashes. One hash matched a file uploaded to the Internet Archive in 2015, supposedly a random data blob. The second hash corresponded to a file that did not yet exist. Within hours, automated crawlers found the matching file had appeared on a dozen decentralized storage networks, encrypted with a key that was nowhere to be found. That night, both men were seen in public for the last time in the same 24-hour window. One boarded a private flight out of Palm Beach, destination redacted. The other departed Moscow by helicopter, official logs listing a routine inspection tour of Siberian facilities. Neither flight plan included a return leg. The next morning, the Internet Archive blob from 2015 was downloaded en masse. When decrypted with a key embedded in the GitHub patch comment, hidden in plain sight as ASCII art, the file revealed a single plaintext document. It contained no names, no dates, no accounts, only a list of 47 countries, each followed by a percentage: United States, 34%, Russian Federation, 29%, China, 11%, others, 26%, and below it, one final line: ownership confirmed. Transfer complete upon mutual silence. No explosion followed, no arrests, no international tribunals, only a profound collective hush. Stock tickers kept rising, diplomats kept shaking hands, elections continued. Yet every major decision, energy policy, sanctions relief, arms sales, tariff adjustments, now carried an invisible asterisk, a silent calculation of who truly held the controlling interest. In the end, the horror was not betrayal or corruption. It was the realization that the game had never been about nations, ideologies, or even power in the old sense. It had been about ownership, quiet, irrevocable, and complete. And the two men who signed the paper in that wood-paneled room had not been players at all. They were the closing bid.